Well, that's right. Certainly the downing of Russian jets by NATO member Turkey and also Moscow's increased strikes on Western-backed rebels in Syria. Well, certainly that's put a question mark, a big question mark on the outcome of this meeting between Vladimir Putin and Francois Hollande later on in Moscow today. And also a big question mark on France's efforts to make this grand coalition with international efforts to fight against ISIS. At best, they can hope for better efforts to coordinate their actions in Syria between Russia and France. Well, certainly Moscow is very angry at the downing of its jet and has already severed its diplomatic and military ties with Turkey. And even though other countries like NATO and the US are calling for calm between Moscow and Ankara, certainly Moscow doesn't look like it's willing to let go of this incident very easily. So we'll have to wait and see just how much impact that incident with the downing of Russian jet has played and how this will affect international efforts to fight against ISIS.
Now, Yulia, Moscow is yet another stop in the French leader Hollande's political marathon to try to win support in the wake of the Paris attacks. What can we still expect to come from this meeting with President Putin?
Well, that's right. Francois Hollande will be arriving later in Moscow and he will be meeting with Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin later this afternoon. This comes as Francois Hollande has already this week met with UK's David Cameron, with Barack Obama, with Angela Merkel, and comes as France is making a diplomatic push for improved international coordination, cooperation on fight against ISIS. Both Russia and France have already stepped up their airstrikes in Syria following the Paris attacks and also following the downing of Russian passenger jets in Egypt in October. And certainly so remains to be seen just what comes out of this meeting. Both Moscow and Paris have stepped up their cooperation in the wake of those attacks on both France and Russia. So certainly this could be, Russia has been showing signs of warming and cooperation with France, but it remains to be seen just what can be achieved at this meeting in Moscow later today.